Hello everyone, my name is Mike Creer. I am a content strategist and small business consultant, as well as a student working on my master's degree in technical writing and digital rhetoric at Utah Tech University. Believe it or not, this is my first video ever. This is actually the first video in a 6-part series of short videos on AI in business that I'll be doing for small business owners who are thinking about or who are in the process of integrating AI into their business operations in various forms. This first video will be a brief introduction to AI, artificial intelligence, in business, covering some of the basics of its history, its current uses and roles, and its applications in various business functional areas. Before I go into the history of AI, I just wanted to share with you why I'm doing this. When I first heard about AI and its modern usage, talking about generative AI like ChatGPT and Bard, Watson and DALL-E and the rest, my impression was, like most others, well, maybe not most others, some others, was like, oh my god, it's only a matter of time until like everything is all giant autonomous tanks crushing skulls and people being blown away by nukes launched by themselves and liquid metal guys poking my eye out while I'm trying to like rock out and make a sandwich. But then I thought to myself, I'm reacting to something new in technology with fear. That's not something I normally do. I realized that my aversion to AI was based on like a Hollywood vision of a worst case scenario that at best was still pretty far off and at worst was like completely unrealistic. This sparked a quest in me to understand AI in the real world and how it has developed and how it can help benefit real human beings today rather than how it might hurt us in some uncertain tomorrow. To be sure, I still believe that AI has incredible potential to both help and to harm us. So I'm not going to tell you that AI definitely won't lead us to the apocalypse, because it might. But I am here to tell you about what it can do for you and for your business today. Did you know that humans have been working on making AI in various forms a reality for more than 60 years? Well, actually, I guess it's more like 2,500 years. Aristotle actually developed an early algorithm that was later used in the 50s. I'll spare you a lot of the in-between because, you're a busy business person who has business to do. Speaking of business, do you remember Lisp machines and those expert systems? Me neither. They were among those big computers that were displaced by PCs in the 80s. Some of them were practically applied for business though, at least in their heyday. Fannie Mae used an expert system to check on loan compliance with the Truth in Lending Act. Obviously, we've moved to much more advanced tech and capability, but it had to start somewhere. Surprisingly, not a lot of progress was made on AI applications throughout most of the 80s and 90s. There just wasn't enough confidence in the possibilities of the tech at the time to justify any kind of significant investment. The theoretical problems being dealt with looked very difficult to solve. For instance, whether and how to go about moving away from a rigid deductive logic system to a more adaptable fuzzy logic approach. The actual technical development was really complex and interesting, but the bottom line is AI, for the most part, still wasn't ready for the world, and the world wasn't ready for it. I thought this was interesting. The Furby was one of the first successful AI products to make it into people's homes. I was around for when they came out, but I never had one. I always thought that they were kind of creepy. In fact, what I remember most about them was like this news story where they ran over a Furby with a car and like it didn't die. It just kind of went and like appeared to like writhe in pain. And I was just like, oh man, And from then on, it was all Ozzy's Iron Man, where it's plotting its vengeance. But I didn't used to feel any sympathy for Furby kind, but, my heart has softened a little bit since then. I guess they are kind of cute, after all. Sorta. Still, as a product, the Furby was huge. It helped remind the rest of us that AI was a thing and that it had all this potential, and that was in terms of both like in products and in business in general. Also, in the later 90s, web crawlers were invented. And that obviously worked out well for industry pioneers like at Google. In 2005, TiVo started giving its users programming recommendations or automatically recording even, its suggestions based on what it thought you liked. Today, all decent streaming services use a system to show you recommendations based on your viewing behavior or your feedback. To an extent, whatever your business, you can and should be recommending products or experiences, etc., to your customers based on their history. The early 2010s saw the advent of personal assistants like Siri and Cortana, and all the other ones that use natural language in their operation. I personally still don't use these. For one thing, I just now got over my fear of AI. For another, I don't really care for how much companies use them to gather your personal information and invade your privacy. On a side note, I'm still considering how much I value my privacy and how hard I have to fight to protect it. I can't tell you which way to go, but I can encourage you to think about it for yourself and for your customers. Anyway, now I'm at least willing to make the effort to research what information is collected and decide whether or not that sacrifice is worth it to gain an assistant that I can delegate tasks to. Not using a resource that's available to you is kind of a waste. It's like saying, no, I don't want to employ anyone because I'm perfectly capable of doing everything myself. Growing your business is about leveraging capabilities and opportunities that are available to you so that you can do what it takes to grow beyond what is possible for a single person to do by oneself. Anyway, the mid-2010s is when people really started waking up to AI again. So many problems had been solved and new science and tech was propelling rapid growth into surrounding industries. This is also when the AI development community really started talking about and acknowledging the ways to prevent AI from becoming the existential threat to humanity and the planet that we kind of thought that it would be. It's a sustainability thing. We want to keep enjoying the fruits of our labor in the form of AI solutions and automation indefinitely without having to, pay the ultimate price. Now it's the roaring 20s again, and we're suddenly plunged into an age full of AI and applications. But it's also the wild, wild west, for now. Regulation has a long way to go to catch up and to keep AI from being nefariously used by bad actors. But it also represents a revolutionary period in how the rest of us, hopefully well-intentioned people, do business every day. This is probably on par with the power of the Industrial Revolution or the internet. Whatever ends up happening, business owners and execs are going to repeatedly find themselves at the vanguard of the decision-making frontier, where their decisions, your decisions, about how to use AI for the benefit of stakeholders and the planet are going to drive the revolution forward. In an article published by Forbes back in April, they conducted a survey of 600 business owners who use or will use AI within the next 6 months. The most popular use area was in customer service, with 56% of respondents using it for this purpose, followed by cybersecurity with 51%, digital personal assistance 47%, customer relationship management or CRM with 46%, inventory management with 40%, content production with 35%. Other less popular but still major applications include recommending products, doing accounting functions, supply chain management or SCM, recruitment, and the segmentation of audiences for marketing purposes. Preliminary research suggests a picture of a massive AI revolution, with AI being used in at least 100 and as many as 300 distinct uses in business that I was able to find online. Of course, the real possibilities for its use are innumerable. The revolution is characterized by its apparent and almost universal acclaim and acquiescence. This pie chart from earlier this year indicates that businesses surveyed had all at least partially tested or implemented at least some form of AI integration, and only 7% don't use AI, but even they're looking into it. Curiously, perhaps, absent is any negative voice refusing to adopt AI out of a bad experience or some form of principle. I found several sources suggesting that the majority of corporate AI integration projects actually fail, as many as 67% of them. But all of these sources are from around 2019, and companies appear to have quickly learned how to streamline adoption much better in the last 4 years. The question, how satisfied are business users with AI applications so far, appears to be best answered not by any rating or anything, but instead by the continued overall increase in spending on AI technology and adoption. What I was able to discover about negative experiences on returns on investment in AI projects suggests that those failures were the result of poor planning and unrealistic expectations on the part of humans rather than any shortcoming with the AI technology itself. That said, there have been some notable instances of AI itself being at least part of the problem. An article by Thor Olafsrud, writing for CIO, an online trade magazine for information executives, describes 9 famous analytics and AI disasters. Illustrations of AI's potential problems include ChatGPT inventing and citing fake court cases, parties, legal citations, and quotes. They call it hallucinating. In another case, a machine learning model failed to triage COVID-19 cases that ultimately learned to equate a COVID diagnosis with whether or not a patient was laying down when scanned. Between 2018 and 2021, Zillow used a machine learning algorithm to offer people money for their houses based on its valuation of their property, and then the company would attempt to flip the house. But by 2021, it had overpaid for many houses and had a glut of 10,000 unsold homes, causing the company to write down over $300 million in losses and subsequently cut 2,000 jobs, or 25% of their workforce. Olafsrud also discusses a case in which Amazon attempted to use AI for recruitment between 2014 and 2018, but since its training materials were past resumes, mostly from men, it began to systematically discriminate against women. This project, like the 2 I mentioned before, was scrapped. The bottom line appears to be, however, that businesses across the globe are committed to harnessing AI's power to simplify and automate tasks, even if it means that some big names have to go take one for the team for the sake of progress. A lesson is learned through almost every loss and mishap generated by AI, and a solution is eventually devised. I'll now focus on discussing how AI is being used as well as some of the concerns arising from its use. Having run my own business before and having a degree in business administration, I immediately see the appeal of delegating many of these very time-consuming and potentially expensive functions to AI, insofar as it can be trusted to do it in a way that represents the brand well and doesn't run afoul of the IRS or something like that. The survey, the Forbes one, goes on to explore most of these areas in further detail. Businesses using AI to improve or at least streamline customer service by integrating AI chatbots into their websites, among other planned implementations. 73% of business owners surveyed say that they use or plan to use chatbots within 6 months. The second most popular usage is AI-optimized email, with 61% indicating use or planned use. Unfortunately, there's little detail about how exactly services like email, personalized advertising, or phone calls are being improved by AI, or to what degree they're actually being automated. The prospect of completely automated business email, with a few exceptions, or customer service phone handling is extremely alluring. The Forbes Advisor survey also discusses internal business processes being handled by AI, including SEO, with 52% of respondents saying that they use or will use AI for this purpose in some capacity. Additionally, 31% plan to use AI to write code, and 29% plan to write website copy using AI. Again, provided the results are satisfactory, leaving some of these functions in the hands of AI, especially with human supervision, seems like a no-brainer. I would expect these percentages to increase dramatically and rapidly over the next several years as AI continues to prove itself in those areas. That's not to say that there are no concerns about these and other business uses for AI. 2 immediate concerns are efficacy and to what extent will or should this technology displace workers. While efficacy will require further research and will likely rapidly improve, its very improvement may actually compound the potential for worker displacement. The Forbes survey shows that 1 in 3 business owners surveyed were apprehensive about AI replacing human workers, and that 77% of the general public believes that AI use will lead to human job losses. Interestingly, that means that 2/3 of business owners actually don't think that AI use will result in a reduction of the human workforce. At least that's what they're saying publicly. At the end of the day, businesses and business owners have always been in business to make money, not really to employ people. And if they can adopt a technology that reduces labor costs and risk associated with humans, history shows that they usually will. The pressure among owners and executives to stay silent or pretend that AI won't take jobs even while it does just that is substantial. If they showed concern themselves or bowed to worker, watchdog, and public concerns, it would likely only increase the possibility of increased regulation of AI. It is in owners' interests to wait until any damage is done and AI is fully and inextricably integrated into everyone's lives before they acknowledge AI's effect on jobs. In an article titled Artificial Intelligence in Business Communication, The Changing Landscape of Research and Teaching by Getchell et al., the authors describe 2 differing models for treating AI in the workplace, either as a tool or as more of a cognitive assistant, potentially rising to the level of teammate. They not only echo concerns about the ethics of hiring these potential teammates over humans, who have traditionally served in the roles of assistants, performance monitors, and analysts, and coaches, and functional teammates like HR staff, managers, and strategists, but they point to salient concerns regarding AI's ability to function ethically and transparently in these roles. The article calls for a great deal more debate, research, and classroom discussion on AI's potential positive and negative impacts going forward. If their tone and concerns are any indication at all of the academic community's opinion at large, then AI's immediate future in business is far less rosy and far murkier than the business community would like to believe. It's clear there's a great deal more to articulate and to ponder over when it comes to AI's current and future roles in business. Enough for, say, a lengthy, in-depth video series. So keep checking back for new episodes. I actually ran a window cleaning business a few years back, and here's how I would have liked to employ AI for an example. I would of course use generative AI to help me develop advertising imagery, and to save time on resizing and reconfiguring different assets. In customer service, I would also use it to summarize my reviews and look for areas for improvement. I would integrate a chatbot on my site to help people book and schedule appointments and ask questions anytime. It's expected that you should have this, even if it isn't very good yet. It also yields useful analytics about what your customers are using it for. I would also use AI for data visualization that could help guide and explain data-driven decisions, which is great for investors or for service techs to understand why and how a particular metric matters. AI can also be used to run models using synthetic data, which can help you predict how certain changes may affect your business. You can do this too, but again, you're busy, and AI can do it a lot faster than you can. I would let AI handle certain invoicing and reminder communications also. I might consider experimenting with an AI bot in recruitment as an alternative means of interviewing prospects. I ultimately trust my own judgment and humanity over the bot, but it's nice to have a second opinion. I would also use AI to help monitor my cleaning tech's performance using various KPI, but I'd actually reserve the response for their manager. So far, in my experience and what I've learned regarding data from books like Weapons of Math Destruction, I'm not yet about to give disciplinary or job-affecting decisions to some black box without knowing exactly how it works. There's actually a ton I'd use it for in marketing, even with the simple example of my window cleaning business. For instance, I'd have it recommend cleanings for a customer every few months or so, depending on what their established pattern is, and have it recommend and estimate their job. Say last time they only got the exteriors done, I'd have AI recommend in an email that it's time for the interiors to be done, and give a quote with a call to action to book and schedule the job. It can even recommend a date and approximate times based on their history. This kind of personalized marketing works great on a type of customer who just wants to avoid the hassle associated with purchasing. We also went through a lot of supplies. AI could optimize our supply orders quickly, easily, and accurately. I'd also probably use one on my business phone as a personal assistant, even though I probably wouldn't use one in my private life just yet. I would definitely consider using AI to develop a simple app for my business that lets customers do all the standard things. There's probably more opportunities that I'd look into. I hope this gave you a lot of avenues to explore as you embark on your journey to leverage AI to help your small business grow. Alright guys, we made it to the end of my first video. Thank you so much for watching this first episode. Please tell me in the comments what you liked and what you didn't like. And I know I have a lot to learn and I'm all ears. Also, let me know if there are other small business topics that you want to hear about. Remember that I'll be coming out with 5 more episodes of my series on AI and business. Oh yeah, don't forget to like if you like. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, AI can be your friend, your employee, your collaborator, and so much more. The best part of the history of AI is the part that you get to make. So till next time, this is Mike Creer wishing you the best in your business endeavors. Thanks.